Welcome to Dan's Drum Clinics with Dan Schinder as your lovely host. Many styles, all levels, get results. Today's clinic is Multiple Snare Concepts.
Hi, I'm Dan Schinder. Thanks for joining me here on Dan's Drum Clinics. I am excited once again to be here in Arizona at Phoenix Drum Company playing their amazing drums. And I've got a few additions to the set that I usually use here at Phoenix Drum Company. We've added a couple snares because today's little clinic is on why use more than one snare? There's so many reasons. And if you ask 10 different drummers, you'll probably get at least 5 different answers as to why use different snares. But quite frankly, there's really one simple answer, and it's really the same as why have a 14-piece kit versus a 4-piece kit. It's just to get more sounds. It's kind of like a keyboard rig. You know, why have more than one keyboard or a piano? It's just to expand the textures and the sounds that you have. And depending on the type of music you play, will determine what snare would be your primary versus your secondary or secondaries snares, because you might have more than one secondary snare. So on today's kit, I've got 4 snares set up. They're all ported with the Ghost port system developed by Philip Gelb at Phoenix Drum Company. And I had to insist that the primary snare be my trademark hammered brass Fat Cap Turbo Dan Schinder Edition, my signature snare. And it's got the standard port on it, meaning that it's near the top, which you can see right there. Then next to me, to my left, and just to the left of my hi-hat, is something new. It's a special order. It's a special order custom drum, and it's called the Fat Cat Sub Port. And the reason why is because the Ghost port came about from Philip developing it through trial and error, mostly not error because these things work great, but as being a young audiophile growing up, he studied how subwoofers and speaker systems worked, and that's how the port system came out. What's different about this drum here is that it's ported right down here on the bottom. As you see on my hammered brass snare, it's ported near the top rim. And on the original Fat Cat Turbo on my far left, it's ported on the other side there, also near the top. Up here, I have a much shallower snare. It's the Hip Cat, and this is in the beautiful red. It's part of Restomod project, and we'll get into those on a whole nother clinic with Philip. But it is ported also right here near the top. They each have their own sound for lots of reasons, because of where the port is, because of the depth of the drum, and the material. So I'm going to give you a quick example. I'm going to turn off my lavalier mic and give you an example, and we'll get more into why have more than one snare. So the hammered brass. Now we're going to move to the sub-port Fat Cat. Hear a lot of bottom end out of that one. Great rim shot too. On the far end, the original Fat Cat Turbo. Wait till you hear this. What's great about these is they all have different timbre. Just like our voices have a timbre, they all have different timbre, they all have different tones, they all have different, kind of a different crack, if you will. I think a crack is a quality in a snare sound. Whenever you hear guys talk about their snares, if they love them, they say, yeah, man, it's got a good crack, just a good crack. Often they're referring to the rim shot, of course, and I'm going to give a little rim shot demonstration with each of these, just kind of going around and mixing and matching. And think of it in regards to the type of music that you play and what assortment you may want. Because remember, there's no, as far as I'm concerned, there's no orthodox way of setting up a kit or playing it. And that's the great thing about drums. I mean, if we all played piano, myself, Max, the rest of my crew, if we all played piano, the keys are all going to be in the same place. Yeah, the action might be a little bit different, but the keys are all in the same place. Same thing with a saxophone, a clarinet, a violin. The strings are in the same place. The mouthpiece, the reed, the buttons, the valves are all in the same place. But with drums, even any one drummer can set up his drums differently at any given time, and I highly recommend that you do that once in a while. Set your kit up a little bit differently, or add a different toy from a friend's kit, or go out and buy something different and set it up, because it will expand your playing. So take this like a buffet. Just take from it what you want, taste it a little bit. If you don't like it, don't take it with you. Take with you what works for you. So check this out. Found it. I found the switch. So there you go. There's a little demonstration. Not all snares are created equal. Even snares that are created by the same creator. Even whether you're soloing or doing any portion of that in a fill, incorporating it into a beat with whatever music you play, it just expands your texture a little bit, gives you other options. Philip Gelb has built in an assortment of sounds and properties and qualities into each of these different snares. So watch this a few times, listen for some of the differences, and think of how you can incorporate at least one additional snare drum into your playing. Maybe you have a wood kit and you have a wood snare. Try a brass hammered snare, for goodness sakes. Try an aluminum snare that's maybe a different depth from your wood snare, and so on, and it'll just give you a bit more range in your playing. It might even change your playing. I personally, after 42 years of playing, when I throw something into my kit or I sit down at someone else's kit that has even one thing different that sounds different, whether it's a cymbal or a chime or a block or a cowbell or a different snare or a different tom or something, it changes my playing because it gives me a different toy, a different sonic toy, a different sound to play with. So there's hopefully a few reasons for you to consider why play with more than one snare drum. Thanks for joining me here on Dan's Drum Clinic.